Coming up on this holiday edition of Cache Rendezvous.
It kills more babies than SIDS. See how local twins survived TTTS.
Ever thought of meeting people online? We'll show you how it's not as sketchy as you might think.
Find out how 2 USU graduates are making a career out of YouTube.
In sports, is USU a football school or a basketball school?
As we head into finals week and then Christmas break, will the weather be naughty or will it be nice? We'll have your climate forecast for a month coming up in weather.
It's all coming up on this holiday edition of Cache Rendezvous. Welcome to Cache Rendezvous. I'm David Matthew Stewart.
And I'm Caroline Liston. Students looking for on-campus housing through USU didn't have the Blue Square luxury apartments as an option until now. Utah State just bought Blue Square for $20 million. The apartments were built in 2013 and include 455 beds, several restaurants, a student lounge, and the Bull's Head, a restaurant and bar with a state license to sell liquor. USU says they do not own a bar, but they will honor the existing 5-year contract for the owner to continue selling alcohol in the restaurant. The university says they're excited about owning Blue Square, and they think it will be a great addition for students.
This was a great opportunity for the university to purchase additional housing on behalf of the students and give them more options, give students more options who want to live near or on campus.
Even though the university is excited about the change, a restaurant owner and at least one renter are a little nervous about what will happen next.
I'm curious. I don't know what to expect right now. Like I said, we haven't had any communication whatsoever with Utah State. So it's in limbo.
Truthfully, I'm a little bit upset with it. I had to live at USU housing last year, and it was a bad experience. I just don't know that they'll run it as luxurious as the management and the maintenance staff is doing here right now.
USU will take full ownership of Blue Square beginning in January.
It kills twice as many babies as SIDS every year. We're talking about twin-to-twin transfusion syndrome, or TTTS, and December is National TTTS Awareness Month. Our Amy Reed went out to show you a story of one local family who had to learn about it firsthand.
This is one of my favorites because it makes a noise.
This is Christopher, and he likes stuffed animals a lot. He guesses he has about 50, but his first?
This is Music Bear.
He got in the neonatal intensive care unit, where he and his twin Gabriel were born at just 30 weeks. They had what's called twin-to-twin transfusion syndrome, or TTTS.
Once we found out we were having twins, they were doing the ultrasound, and there's this silence that comes when you know there is something very wrong. They stop talking to you. And they're just looking around. Just give me a second. I need to find something. Just give me a second. I need to go get the doctor.
That was when the Carter Olsons first found out about TTTS.
Imagine this balloon is the placenta, and the water inside is the fluid that's necessary for the twins to develop. With identical twins, they share the placenta. And with TTTS, one twin gets too much fluid, while the other is starved.
When we went in at 30 weeks for our ultrasound again, Christopher had no fluid left. And it was so bad that they wouldn't even let me leave the hospital after the ultrasound. When we had been trying for a baby as long as we had, we wanted everything to be perfect. We wanted everything to work out, and then it just didn't.
When the boys were born, they could fit in their parents' hands. Their dad's wedding ring could have easily slid up their premature arms. But now,
we're very healthy, we're very active, we're very smart.
Whoa, lucky to be alive.
Amy Reed, Cache Rendezvous.
For more information on TTTS, visit ttttsfoundation.org. A group of Cache Valley children will be having a more plentiful Christmas this holiday season as part of a fundraiser at Logan High School called Bear Hugs, where the students, who are actually called Grizzlies, will be taking the kids shopping with money they've raised to take the kids out. This year they had about $80 donated for each child, and some kids bought toys, and the event organizers were touched to hear what they got.
I'm really moved because we just had a student purchase top ramen to take home. She bought 6 packs of top ramen and a teddy bear. That was all she bought today. Christmas is giving.
It's passed. Logan High brought about 300 students to help around 150 elementary kids. Their principal said they've done this event in the past and they've never had a hard time getting students to volunteer.
USU works with its extension office on plans for emergencies, and if an emergency were to happen, I would want to know what I was going to eat because I don't know about you guys, food is very important to me.
Me too. We've got Sarah Winder here to explain how we can prepare for an emergency.
Yeah, so when I grew up, my mom had a lot of food storage in case of an emergency, but when I came to school, it was just too much money and effort, you know, to kind of take care of that on my own. And after talking to some students, it doesn't really seem like I'm alone in that.
In Cache Valley, we live kind of in a bowl, and so if we are cut off from the outside of Cache Valley area, the trucking companies or whatever can't get food in, they predict that we'll be out of food in 3 or 4 days.
Adri Roberts is a USU Extension professor who teaches students about emergency preparedness.
Adri recommends having 6 gallons of water per person in case of an emergency. She also recommends having cash hidden away from your roommates. But how many students are actually doing this?
I have maybe 4 cans of green beans for food, and I think the most I have is 1 blanket.
These students live on campus in the Living Learning community and say,
there's 8 people in one small room, and I only have like 1 tiny cupboard. So I wouldn't be able to fit any of my food storage in there. And like under my bed's already been taken up by space, so I don't have any room here.
I'm a college student. I have no money.
Money or not, and no matter where you live, Adri still says,
you have to be independent. You have to do as much as you can to prepare for an emergency.
I have a food storage, but it isn't something that I'm thinking about all the time. But after watching that story, I guess I should be.
Definitely, because even though it has been said before, she was stressing that it really is a matter of not if, but when Logan will face an emergency. And they haven't made them yet, but the office is actually considering putting together a bunch of 72-hour kits for the community.
That's actually a great idea. I already have one prepared for me and my cats, but I know a lot of people who could use to be prepared. Thanks, Sarah. If you've lived in Cache Valley for more than a year, you know our winter driving comes with its own set of rules. We show you the big 3 tips Logan City says will help you stay safe and ticket-free this snowy season. The first thing to know about winter driving starts before a storm even hits. If this was your truck, you'd be fine, because it only rained last night. However, had you woken up to this, you might have also found a ticket.
We have a parking enforcement, which is a division of the police department, and they are issued an overnight snow removal parking citation.
Some people have permits, and the ones with permits are allowed to park on the road. If you don't have a permit, then it's, I think it's from 1 a.m. to 6 a.m. You need to be off the road.
The second thing officials say to remember is the ice on your windshield has got to go. If you can't see, then you're breaking the law.
How many times in the mornings coming into work you'll see somebody driving on the road with just a spot big enough to see through, but yet you can't see what's going on and the other parts of your windshield.
While it's easier to spot than other crimes, Sergeant Murray says it's also one of the most dangerous for you and anyone else using the road.
Just those few minutes to scrape your windshield might save you getting in an accident or hurting yourself or somebody else.
The third and final part of our list is actually on the books year-round, even if you skip over it this time of year because you want a warm car.
In January when it gets cold, the air quality is so poor and the idling of the cars just adds to that problem.
Sergeant Murray says that even on cold days, don't idle your car. It'll save you money, it's good for the air, and it's the law.
We can actually enforce that idling issue if we see that.
But, he says, they'd rather lead by example.
We're now asking our officers to make sure that if they're not engaged in official business to shut their cars off.
So Mark Nelson told me that while they really only have 5 hours to clear the road at night, they're pretty generous with freebies if it snows on Thanksgiving and Christmas.
When we come back, she loved dancing when she was younger. We'll show you how she got back in the ballroom.
And we'll show you what snowboarders hiking up what has snowboarders hiking up the mountains before lifts have even started.
Are you frustrated with your major?
I'm done.
Do you wish your professors were more available to you? Do you wish your dreams of appearing on television would come true? We have the solution for you. Broadcast journalism offers hands-on experience, one-on-one assistance, and the opportunity to work with ATV News. Join the JCOM family today.
A group of engineering students at Utah State has designed and programmed an innovative remote-controlled submarine. USUB is fully student-run. They designed and built the parts from the ground up and are always working to improve the submarine software and capabilities. These students show that computer science is more than just typing on keyboards. Dive right into engineering with USUB.
Welcome back. Putting your life in front of a camera can be intimidating, but for USU graduates Sam and Jenica, it's normal. We show you the local family whose life on YouTube has brought more than followers.
No, do cute face.
This is one moment of many captured by local YouTubers, and now close to 700 video logs later, Samica is taking social media by storm.
We've had to explain to a lot of people why it's Samica.
Or they'll be like
Or
Samika.
it's Samika, yeah.
But the funny part is you always got Jenica from people.
That's true.
So it's Sam, Jenica,
And it's
Samica.
They consider themselves like any other family, but their dedication
Did you sleep well?
and personalities have captured the attention of people across the world, but it hasn't come without its struggles.
You can't really take a sick day. You know, we have so much flexibility with what we do. We can go places and still do our jobs.
I still cannot believe it. We're having a boy!
But you can't take a sick day
Boy!
because then there's no video.
And by doing a video every day, that means showing those intimate moments like
I need the push.
the birthing
Oh!
of baby Noah. But births of babies isn't their only benefit. Doing these video logs have brought a lot of opportunities for Sam and Jenica, one of them being Trixon, a store owned by YouTubers called Shaytards but ran by Samica as well as other video loggers.
Our store is a little bit different. It has a little bit more open, kind of a place you could come relax, hang out. So we have a lounge area where we play YouTube videos, feature creators from all across the world. Everything is shipped
From
out
our store.
from Logan. We're definitely using the space up. We've done live streams, and it's crazy that a little place in Logan, Utah can kind of reach the outside world as much as it does. But that's kind of how we got to where we are today.
It was a lot of fun going into their home and listening to their story, and they told me that as long as their video logs stay popular, they don't see any reason to stop.
Doctors told her she'd never walk again, but they didn't say anything about dancing. Our photojournalist Jeffrey Dada shows us a local woman who's dancing again after 17 years.
I have wanted to really learn how to do ballroom. I love ballroom dancing.
My favorite thing is actually dancing with guys after they've danced with Brittany because they're so much better.
She emailed me before class started to see if it was okay because she was in a wheelchair, and I said sure. I feel like dance is for everyone. She took that leap of faith. She came to the class. She had a positive attitude.
Dancing with Brittany is a whole different realm of how to dance and how to hold yourself, and it's really awesome. I love it.
I was 16 when my accident happened. I was cut in half by my seatbelt. It severed everything in its way except for my skin. I spent over a year in the hospital fighting for my life. When I got out, I lived in a nursing home for 5 years here in the Valley. I thought I was gonna die there. They gave me a life expectancy of 5 years if I survived. It's been 17 years, and so I've come a long way, and I would never change it though.
She didn't let anything stop her.
It's opened my eyes. What you think isn't possible really can be possible.
Some days I stop and I just have to think, and I'm like, really? I've really come this far. I'm really doing these things. My life is really where it is. It's not just a dream.
Brittany also won her class ballroom competition 2 weeks ago. The snowboarding season is upon us, but not all the Utah resorts are open yet.
That's right, David. Even though the lifts aren't running, snowboarders and skiers are still hiking up the mountain to get their turns.
I strapped on some snowshoes and hiked up to see why they're doing this and if Beaver wants them there. I tagged along with this group of snowboarders to hike the face of the unopened Beaver Mountain, and my first thought was, why do they do this?
It's a lot more personal. You get to see what you're going to ride down. You get a little bit better of a run because it's only one run.
After about spending an hour and a half hiking straight up the mountain, literally dripping in sweat, what makes it worth it?
I feel like euphoria almost. It's a high for sure, a natural high. You know, you're at the top of a mountain. There's fresh air, beautiful sunshine.
Slashing fresh powder on an unopened resort is a goal for these snowboarders, but management of resorts like Beaver may have a problem with these early season riders.
It comes down to just like liability issues. If somebody were to get hurt and there's nobody there to help them, they could end up being in trouble for allowing somebody to be up there.
While Beaver hasn't experienced much trouble with this issue, management has had problems with vandalism from preseason riders in the past.
We do have issues. It's just a couple people that don't think or don't respect, other people's property, but for the most part, it's great.
Minimal difficulties with preseason riders has left Beaver with open arms.
We love the hype. We love to see people getting stoked, so get after it.
I've been on the slopes before, but hiking for an hour and a half, that looked really difficult.
Yeah, something I'm not going to do again. I think I might wait till the lifts start up again.
So actually, when do they plan on opening up the lifts?
Beaver hasn't set a date yet. It's kind of dependent on the storm coming, but I think we're going to get a little bit more information.
I think our Misty Inglet will be able to give us more information on the storm you're talking about, because when we come back, we'll give you we have your long-term holiday forecast.
Aggie Air is an innovative engineering program exclusive to Utah State. It provides opportunities for students to get hands-on and real-world experiences. By building model planes that photograph and scan detailed images of landscapes, Aggie Air can change the way we use the Earth's surface. Watch as Aggie Air takes flight.
Students in biological engineering at Utah State University have the unique chance through the Synthetic Biomanufacturing Institute to engineer uses for spider silk. Projects developed in the lab include medical coatings, strong adhesives, and elastic woven fibers. These Aggies from Utah State are influencing and changing the face of biological engineering. Join them and leave your mark as well.
Sorry. I've got big ideas.
As a college student, you have big ideas to make a big difference on campus. Why not get funding for those ideas in a big way? The Blue Goes Green Grant provides funding for student sustainability projects. These projects help USU students be more environmentally responsible, live healthier, and save money. To find out more, go to usu.edu/BGG. Get funding for your Blue Goes Green idea in a big way. Blue Goes Green. Make a difference.
Welcome back. So before the break, Taylor Murray talked about some snow heading our way, and we'll get to that in just a second. But first, let's take a look at our national radar. So as you can see across the U.S. here, it's pretty clear, Midwest, East Coast, not a lot going on. But over here in the West Coast, on Northern California, middle Northern Idaho, pushing on over into Western Montana, you've got some rainstorms going on. And where it's green, those are the sections and the areas that are getting the heavier rainfall. Let's take a look specifically at Utah. So in Utah, there's not a lot going on here from Logan down to Provo and down on through St. George. There's no storms and nothing heading our way. As we head into the break and the holiday season, let's look at what temperatures you can expect to see. So this weekend on Friday, it's going to be partly cloudy but pretty decent weather. The high is going to be 41 and a low of 26. As we head into the beginning of finals week next week though, that's when you're going to see that snowstorm come in. It's going to come in on Sunday and it's going to carry on through Monday, and it's going to be a high of 34 and a low of 21. As we move towards the end of the week on Friday, the day that you're traveling, hopefully headed home for the holidays, it's going to be really sunny and really nice weather for traveling. Let's look further down the month, heading into Christmas Eve, Christmas Day. It's going to be sunny and nice weather, but it is going to cool off a lot. The highs are going to be in the 40s, but as it heads down into nightfall, you're going to drop into those negative temperatures. It could drop as low as -12 and -10. And that's going to carry on through to New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. New Year's Eve, there's a 10% chance of some rain showers, again dropping down to about -10. New Year's Day, that sun will be back out and it'll be nice during the day, but still dropping down to about -8 by night. So you're gonna see a huge drop in temperatures by the end of the month. The cold is just gonna kind of take over, kind of like our Aggie student section at games. Right, Taylor?
Right, Misty. Coming up on sports, we'll show you which Aggie athletic program students think is dominant.
At the Utah State Journalism Department, we can't offer you a cool press hat. We can't offer you a spot on a blooper reel. We can't offer you easy A's. We can't offer you time off. We can't offer you ridiculously dramatic music playing in the background, or even my British voice. What we can offer you is an education that leads to a job that makes a real difference.
Milestones keep rolling in for the football team, but is one of their latest ones overtaking the supremacy in Aggie athletics?
Outrageously good, magic, exhilarating, awe-inspiring. The Golden Age. All names fans use to describe the time Utah State basketball dominated their competition. USU is known as a basketball school, but the Aggies have not been to the NCAA tournament since 2011, where they finished the season with 30 wins and only 4 losses. And last year, they ended 18-13. And within the last few years, USU's football program changed from the losing team to the winning team, making it to 5 straight bowl games.
Has a shift occurred, or is Utah State still a basketball school? Or especially with the new expansions, is Utah State a football school?
I'd say football.
Football.
Basketball. Basketball. Football.
Basketball.
Football.
Basketball, just because of the history. Football's been good recently, but I would say basketball.
I feel like in earlier years it was basketball, but I think it's becoming more and more of a football school.
I think Gary Anderson kind of pushed it more towards football, and then ever since Ty Wesley left, we've been more of a football school. But I worry about that in the future because I don't think it's going to continue to be that way.
When I first started back in 2010, it was definitely a basketball school. That was definitely the glory days of basketball. But I think now we're a football school.
The football program has gone from losing all the time to winning all the time. Well, not all the time, but more. And basketball's starting to go a little bit downhill.
Interview-wise, the results were pretty even, which I was shocked about. I thought that we were a basketball school.
Yeah, you must have been interviewing freshmen who've never been to the Spectrum. That's insane.
For me, though, it doesn't really matter, basketball, football, as long as we're winning. Thanks, Taylor. When we come back, one young artist is in town, and her canvas is a little bigger than you may think. We'll show you her way of art.
Can you consent with me? Imagine what you'd see if every child had a book to read. 'Cause every kid across the nation deserves a book to read, and we can make it happen right now. No, I don't know what you've been told, but kids with books learn so much more. So the mission is for us to get a book to each and every child. So let's join hands, book people unite, unearth hidden passion. Come on, we'll have a good time. Planting seeds of inspiration to motivate some magic. To change the writing on the wall, writing on the wall. And make a difference. One book can inspire a child. One book can be the first something that helps to change a life.
Read to a child today and spark a lifetime of ambition.
Welcome back. When looking for dates, you may have considered finding somebody online.
That's right. Our Christopher Campbell joins us to show you that it's actually pretty common.
Yeah, online dating used to have a little bit of a stigma attached to it, but as I did a little investigating, I found that not only do people find it more normal, there are quite a few people who actually get into successful relationships because of it.
Let's just have the most awkward thumb war in the entire world.
It's kind of cheesy, I guess, but I just love having someone to come home to, just having a constant best friend like all the time. It's great.
Okay.
Corey and Melanie Christensen have been married for about a year and a half.
It's great to have somebody that perfectly understands you. Even though you don't always understand each other all the time, you come to an understanding really quickly.
And they found each other through a fairly new medium. The Christensens, who go to school here at Utah State University, met through an online dating app called Tinder. It works a little bit like a social media site. You see a potential date's profile, and you swipe right if you like that person, or left if you don't. This is just one of the many options for online dating, and the Christensens aren't the only ones to find success through meeting virtually. According to the latest Pew Research report on the topic, 5% of all people in a committed relationship met their partner online. But out of the people who got married in the last 10 years, 11% met online. That may sound small, but it means out of every 10 people who recently entered a relationship, one will have met his or her partner on the internet.
Christmas party.
Corey and Melanie have noticed it's more common than they thought.
Going into our married student ward and just being like, oh, we're the weirdos who met on Tinder. But then we start talking to people and they're like, oh, well, we met on Tinder too. And so we're not alone.
I had the opportunity to talk with some USU students about the subject as well. And a lot of them said that it's normal, it's a pretty normal thing, and it's a good way to get dates, even if it's not for them. And that's actually pretty consistent with what else the Pew Research Center found. They found that from 2005 to 2013, people improved in their attitudes towards online dating.
That's great. Thanks, Chris.
When you hear the word graffiti, do you think of vandalism or art? One 18-year-old girl hopes to spray the word out about what graffiti means to her here in Cache Valley.
18-year-old artist Hope Clements first starts her work with paper and a pencil. But when she really starts, it's on a little bigger scale than this. The canvas becomes her room, a board, and even a trash can. And instead of her pencil, it's the rattle cans. She calls herself
a graffiti artist. I mean, even though I don't get to do that as much as I'd like.
And that's because
spray painting on the walls is at least a Class B misdemeanor. So it's a good thing I just used a paper.
It's on the same level of assault, reckless driving, shoplifting, and possession of marijuana. But
to me, it's different. Like, it's an art form. It's alright, I think.
So her garage is the studio. And her canvas becomes harder to carry around. What Hope hopes to do is make people understand what she does is an art, not vandalism. And she's changing some locals' opinions. If you went to the 10th West Scare House in Logan this year, you saw her clown face store.
Before Hope, I don't know that I think I would have been closed-minded. Then when you know Hope and you see what's interesting to her and you see why she's doing it, you see what she's doing it, all of a sudden you have a different perspective on what it is and how beautiful it can be.
Hopefully they'll see it and be like, whoa, this is from spray paint. Like, this isn't what we thought graffiti was.
Jamie Sun, Cache Rendezvous.
Hope will start her artwork for Christmas today after she gets red spray paint and the board from Salt Lake City.
Thanks for joining us on our holiday edition of Cache Rendezvous.
Be sure to tune in next month for ATV News. Happy holidays, everyone.